Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cellular Healing TV. I'm your host, Meredith Dykstra, and this is episode 128. And today we have a very special guest for you and a dear friend of Dr. Pompa's, and he is no stranger to Cellular Healing TV. He has been on the show multiple times before discussing Lyme disease and adrenal fatigue and some really hot topics that we love to speak about here on Cellular Healing TV. So today we welcome you, Dr. J. Davidson. So thanks for joining the call, Dr. J. Before we jump in, let me tell you a little bit more about Dr. J. Dr. J. Davidson is a doctor focusing on a natural functional medicine approach. He's also a popular speaker, a #1 international best-selling author, husband, father, former radio talk show host, and church elder. Dr. J was the host of the Chronic Lyme Disease Summit with 33 experts that happened in April 2016, and he's also a co-host of the Detox Project, and that's upcoming. That starts September 26th, 2016. So Dr. Pompa is also a guest expert on that summit. So if you're interested in learning more about that summit, you can go to thedetoxproject.com to sign up to get all of the information and listen to all of the incredible talks that are going to be occurring during that detox summit. But yeah, so check that out. But anyway, Dr. J. Davidson, he's admired for his ability to bridge the gap between the scientific health community and the layperson. So Dr. J, thanks so much for joining Cell TV. We're so excited to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. I always love being on, and also always love watching Cell TV too.
Yeah, no, that's great, Jay. We thank you so much for being here as a practicing doc, making a difference in this planet, utilizing cellular healing and cellular detox. You know, we want to bring our viewers and listeners as many of you as we can. You know, because we offer, you are offering something completely different with a different approach than most of the world, even on the alternative practitioner side. So grateful to have you, man. And let me tell you something, the Detox Project, wow, it's going to be huge, I believe. So thank you for doing it. You're a great host on that, and you've got some amazing guests, some educators on there. Why don't you name some of them? I mean, I am one of those, but there's other ones.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of great guests on there. You're one of them. You're actually on a couple different of the interviews. I mean, we have experts, though, as far as the scientific community, like the head person of systemic formulas, Dr. Shane, talking about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 detoxification. We have people talking about the emotions and the role it plays in detoxification, information medicine. I mean, just the lab testing, heavy metal detoxification. I mean, just the gamut is pretty profound. Experts out there like Sayer G of Green Med Info, and just it's really an amazing lineup. And the content, I believe, is just going to be phenomenal. So
I mean, how much is it? How do they get it? I mean, I know the detoxproject.com, but give them our viewers a little more detail.
Yeah, so basically, you just go to thedetoxproject.com. You can register for free. It starts September 26th, and when you register, you can get a couple free talks. Dr. Pompa's actually is one of them, so you can tune into his interview early. Then it airs September 26th. But basically, you just tune in, and every day there's a different set of about four speakers, roughly, maybe 4 or 5 speakers on different topics. And so there's 7 days. You basically just tune in. It's absolutely free. But if you want videos and transcripts and have information for your library, you can always purchase it, which is pretty. I think right away it's like $50 and maybe goes up to like $100, for it. So it's pretty nominal cost to get all of the information. And there's about a little over 30 experts right now that we have, and still in the works and still in the busy phase of putting it all together.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's going to be great. And what a resource of information and a topic that really is the key, to changing lives today, no doubt about it. And that's detox done the right way, Jay. And that's one of the things that we have in common, right? I mean, we see a lot of very challenging people. But we go after it with the same focus, upstream, getting to the cause. With that said, this is what I really love to ask people when they come on the show, Jay. And you've hosted a lot of shows, and I'm probably similar in your mind, that you like to see what drove people to do what they do. You were a practicing chiropractor, right? Like I was, and a shift happened in your life. You know, I mean, years ago, I was a part of that shift. I watched that shift occur in your life. You know, now you're doing what you're doing. Now you went from doing this to spreading the message like I do. What got you there, man?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, if you would ask me this, 4 or 5 years ago, I wouldn't imagine doing what I'm doing now, but really feel like there was a purpose, and God had a obviously specific path I needed to walk down. So, my wife and I, my wife, Dr. Heather, we graduated from chiropractic school. We opened a practice up. We went from 0 to 300 visits a week within 90 days. So we were out helping, obviously, transforming health in the community as far as structural correction and, teaching about health topics, and, really never had a need to necessarily step out of the chiropractic, corrective chiropractic realm. Always busy. I mean, saw over 600 visits a week at one point, and I remember just a time being, wow, this is, I'm tired. I need to go to bed after, after shift. So, really led, I would say, busy, lives, running her own business, helping individuals. And my wife had a past history of Lyme disease. When she was 7 years old, she got sick. They didn't understand what was going on. They gave her some medications. The general medical community physicians gave her some meds. All of a sudden, she got brain encephalitis, which is basically brain swelling. Went into a coma for about 6 weeks, and in that time period, her mom was obviously searching and looking for answers and saying, okay, what's going on with my daughter? And hearing about this thing called Lyme, and granted, this is, my wife is 34 now, and this was when she was 7 years old, so do the math. It's been obviously a while since this whole thing, but her mom was saying, I'm hearing about this thing called Lyme disease, and she grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, so Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, those are high tick Lyme areas, the Northeast, obviously, but I mean, Lyme disease doesn't know borders, so it'll cross the border. But so they tested her for Lyme and actually came back positive, and at that time it was conventional testing, but still showed positive. Then they gave her IV antibiotics, and just from that point forward, her health was never the same. She came out of the coma, still was giving antibiotics, oral antibiotics, and that went on for a couple of years. And that's kind of, I guess, maybe some of my beef with the antibiotic world is, the thing that's going to fix somebody with Lyme disease. My wife would have never had these issues in the future. And, from being dizzy to not being able to lay down for 6 months when she was younger after a car accident. So, again, another physical trauma. And I want to talk about, obviously, traumas and stressors that can trigger, people into having health issues, not only just Lyme disease, but other things. But having sinuses scraped. She was supposed to go to the Junior Olympics for swimming. She was a rock star swimmer. Have basically pull out of that because of health issues. And then when she was it was either 18 or 19 years old, all of a sudden she's starting to get heart issues where her heart would just take off racing, SVT, or what they call supraventricular tachycardia. And there was one time she was standing in the kitchen with her mom, just talking, and all of a sudden heart just started taking off racing. She wasn't doing any activity, just started taking off racing, passed out, hit the floor, called the ambulance. They clocked her heart rate at 260 beats a minute.
Wow.
And so in normal resting rate, 60, maybe 90, somewhere in that range roughly, but definitely not triple digits, definitely not, over 200. And so she went in for surgery, ablation, where they went up through her leg to kill the SA node to fix the heart. And didn't take, so they went in for a second one, and apparently that took or worked. But then a few years later, she started getting heart issues again, and then that's when I met her, was around that time. And I was living in an apartment, happened to have mold, didn't know it. She was doing pretty good, but we moved out, we moved my bed away, and there was this rainbow of color. The bed was up against the wall. It was this rainbow of color. Obviously, there must have been water from the outside leaking and just creating moisture. Yeah. And a side note too, this is an undergrad, not even chiropractic school, but before, undergrad college, I used to think, oh man, I must be sick all winter, every winter, just because I don't have enough, I'm not taking enough vitamin C, and there's not enough humidity in my room. So I ran the humidifier all the time. Yeah. So humidifier, water leaking, bed, I've never seen something so rainbow colored as it was, but looking back on it now, it's like, wow, that took my wife, Heather, that took her into a downward spiral after that, not realize it in the moment, but definitely afterward noticed that. And so basically we went to chiropractic school, looked into getting her well because knew things weren't right. You know, tried tried heavy metal detoxing in 2007 after we got tested. And I say we because I'm that tag-along guy, like, hey, if you're going to get tested, I want to get tested too. I want to see what mine says. And so she had some reactions. I actually had some reactions too, so we stopped it. And we're like, you know, there's no way to figure out how to detox. 2008, went to a different practitioner down in Florida. They're like, oh, you need to do this. And then my wife was a little scared. She always felt like she was the experimented one, or the one that was getting poked and prodded, and let's see if this works, let's see if that works. And she's like, I'm just sick of that, I'm fine getting by, and so we kind of did. But 2008, went to another practitioner. They said, do detox this method, and my wife was obviously, a little skittish. She's like, Jay, you do it, let's see. I reacted. I swelled up, my face, rash, and of course, understanding heavy metal detox, it was violating, there was no preparation. It was violating half-life rules. The dosing was completely off. Everything about it just was, we'll look at it as a learning situation, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of went on, and we just, very interested in nutrition, very interested, obviously, in structural correction. My wife had some car accidents, so she had really severe forward head posture and kind of this curl-up type posture, and that's still an area that, always want to keep focusing on, just kind of her postural tendency. But, from nutrition and detox to all this, and, that's where I got to know you back in the day as well, too, Dr. Pompa, just being somebody that's been teaching so many practitioners for so long. And, I would say we were, then we had our chiropractic practice. We were getting by, and I know it's kind of a long story, but there's a lot of pieces I think that are pertinent for listeners. Is 2012, my wife got pregnant. Had some issues during pregnancy, hard stress, just kind of a tougher pregnancy. And I'd say tough in the fact of all the stuff we know still was having issues, And when my daughter was born on my wife's birthday, so my daughter was born on my wife's 30th birthday, July 4th, so they're both firecracker babies, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Basically, stuff hit the fan. Things went downhill. Things really got bad. My wife, after just a couple months, had to stop breastfeeding because her body couldn't handle it. And she ended up losing her baby weight within just a matter of a few weeks, which is definitely not recommended when you gain, she's a pretty tiny frame, but she gained about 40 pounds, I think, during pregnancy. And, to drop the baby weight, just everything crashed. The only thing she could consume for like 17 or 21 days was bone broth. Otherwise, everything else she reacted to. And that was that moment where all of a sudden it was like, okay, what about this Lyme thing? Could it be that reemerging? What about this heavy metal thing that we never addressed, that we never could, figure out? And so, of course, my focus from the chiropractic world went right into, let's get my wife well, because that's obviously a huge, priority, and then just shift me in this world. And the next thing you know, she restores her health. People hear, and then next thing you know, this is what I do full time now. So
yeah, there's some valuable lessons in there, and I remember when Heather was, going through it, and but what you described there with her story is my story, the next person's story, the next person's story. There was a perfect storm, wasn't there? She had Lyme disease, yes. And we just had a past show where we talked about, there's 90% of certain populations that have Lyme. Why aren't they all sick? We know that genetics play a role, but we also know that other accumulated traumas and stressors and toxins play a role, right? She had Lyme. She got a mold exposure. She had massive heavy metals, right? Which when you start, realizing that it's like, wow, these people end up really getting sick in Lyme. They have major heavy metals bioaccumulated in their tissue, gives these things protective status from the immune system, if you will. We know it's a perfect storm, right? It was like there was a perfect storm. She even had traumas and spinal issues. So she had physical stress. She had 2 different chemical stressors, the mold, the Lyme, and the metal, so 3. And I don't know, she, the pregnancy probably released more lead from her bones and added a 4th component. And there was probably some emotional stress, obviously, at that point, too. So I don't know. I think I counted 5 storms there, man. You count.
Yeah, well, that's it. So if I think about this in chiropractic school, so my wife's relationship with her father, kind of the intimidating, scared, and and not really showing compassion or love necessarily to her much. The first time she remembers him saying "I love you" was when it was at my, our wedding, Heather and I's wedding. So definitely that was something that she was addressing during chiropractic school. So I would say that's a stressor.
Yeah.
On the emotional side. The other thing too is this. One of the things I really want to speak to your audience about is this idea of this modern day, and this is what I'm calling it, modern day adrenal fatigue, and I think it's very prevalent in the female gender, and I speak just from experience with my wife, and I would say this is definitely not a topic that's going to be covered in the media, because I don't feel like it's a politically correct type topic, but in all reality, I see this with clients I work with, and I know you do too, Dr. Pompa, with so many clients you work with, especially on the female side, client-wise, that there's this expectation. If you look at right back in the 50s, or back in the day, right, there was this inequality that women weren't viewed as equal. I mean, I remember my mom saying that her basketball team in high school, she was the very first girls' high school basketball team, and she's proud. She's proud of that because obviously there wasn't before. So, looking back in the day, there was a big inequality as far as male, female, vote, can't vote, all this, and there needed to be this push where it was like, okay, yeah, there's equality, But I feel personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I feel like the needle's been pushed so far that now there's this expectation, especially in the female gender, that, yeah, not only are you supposed to have a full-time career, but then when you have kids, you should be a full-time mom, and then also you should be a full-time spouse. And I think about this idea that it's like, how many plates can you really juggle? It's like if I'm not even a hunter, so I'm not sure why I'm thinking of this, but if you have 5 rabbits and you try to shoot them all at once, like what, you're not bringing in something that's practical. It's undoable. And I think about this for my wife. So let me bring it back to my wife. We ran a chiropractic office. We had staff. It was me and her at the time, taking care of a lot of people. And I remember before she gave birth to Leela, our daughter, she's like, "Oh, I'll be, once I give birth to Leela, I'll be back in a week." That's what she told the staff. And thinking about that now, I'm like, how freaking silly and crazy is that to think that you're going to go through this amazing process of having a child, and then within a week you're going to be back in the office, and it's a physical trauma, right, to the woman and to the child, and just this. I feel like there's such this expectation that can't be met. That even if it's not conscious, it's because of the society. It's in there. And it's a constant stressor that eventually just wears people down. And I think this is part of a perfect storm as well, too.
Yeah, and I think women are I think they're stronger, honestly, right? I mean, I do. I think that women are stronger, for different reasons. But however, maybe it's because of that so much has been put on them. But when we look now of really then, the woman who is really stronger in different ways physically with a better constitution, getting chronic fatigue, autoimmune, all of these types of conditions more than even men, right? And it's like, so I think what you're saying is true. I believe that it's the leading to why we're seeing this massive impact on women's health. It's the perfect storm times, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, and I think Heather's the perfect example of that, right? I mean, I think my wife was too, and like I said, the thousands of women that we see. I mean, think about this, Jay. I mean, almost every woman that comes in with just some fatigue and just can't lose weight, they all have thyroid issues, right? It's a hormone resistance. They all have fatigue. I mean, it's all the same thing. It's stacking up, And I can tell you this, and I know the answer isn't just taking this product, but everyone's looking for the darn single product. So Jay, with that said, I mean, how do you address it, right? I mean, that's a huge thing, man. I mean, so if we're going to take that away, I mean, that's a big thing to do with somebody to get them well. How do you address it?
Yeah, well, that's the $1 million question, and I think, and I just want to finish by saying this too. I don't believe the right answer is to go back to the inequality. But I almost feel like, okay, so if you have inequality of male-female and it's pushed the other side, and it needed to be pushed, but I feel like almost it has to be brought back to somewhat of a traditional thought process, but not the inequality. This is just me speaking out loud. And I'll say this. So my wife, right, She went to chiropractic school, so chiropractic school is you do undergrad for 4, or however long it takes you to do your undergraduate degree. Then you go to chiropractic school. If you go full time like we did 3.5 years straight, 30 credits a trimester, which is just insane. But she got her doctorate, right? Doctorate of chiropractic, and she's like, I'm a doctor. I shouldn't be a stay-at-home mom. And it was this that had to open up from a conversation and say, hun, what is your goals, and well, it's like I just, if I feel like I'm home with Leela, I love to be home with her, but I feel like I should be doing so much more, and it's this, constantly I need to do more, stress, and crash. And so I think really, looking at my wife's case, for instance, she reacted to a lot of stuff, and I believe, understanding. So I wrote a book, 5 Steps to Restoring Health Protocol. This is where it really came from, was looking at my wife and saying, okay, what worked for her to get well? Because if she can get well, anybody can get well. If you gave her something, she would have the opposite reaction.
Yeah.
She was that person. So if she can get well, anybody can get well. I truly believe, if you're still alive and it hasn't hit that breaking point that it's beyond helping. But the first step is detect. So understand what you're going after. If you can't identify the source or sources, right, which you always talk about, Dr. Pompa, you have to get to the source in order to get well.
Our number one.
If you can't detect or understand the source, then how can you make a game plan to go after it? So I really believe identifying the pieces to your puzzle, the most important thing.
I agree.
The second thing, the second step, or the second thing I really think that's important, especially with Lyme disease cases, and I'll say, people that are having symptoms of Lyme or dealing with Lyme. So Lyme is not who they are, it's just what they're going through right now. It's very common to have stagnation. So the lymphatic system gets bogged down, the body temperature gets colder, right? Whether it's adrenal or thyroid issues, or just that constant infection and other issues can drag down body temperature. And when you have lower body temperature, the cardiovascular system doesn't flow as well, the lymphatic system doesn't flow as well. So you get this stagnation. Colon obviously can be a part of the draining pathway, so if you're constipated, making sure that pathway is moving. The liver, the kidneys, the skin, right? So my wife never sweated, and it was like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever. She doesn't even need deodorant. Wrong. That's that's a detox pathway, or really what I like to refer to as a draining pathway, that if the body's not draining, how do you ever think that we can or should ever start killing bugs or bacteria or pathogens or viruses or parasites, or start detoxifying heavy metals? Because I think of it this way, Dr. Pompa and Meredith, if your body has a sewer system, and let's just say that's the draining system, and it starts getting backed up, you start killing pathogens off, you start creating debris, the body is not going to be able to drain that out or move it out of the body, and it's going to start reacting. Same thing with detoxifying. So first primary thing before you embark on killing things or detoxifying even heavy metals, I believe opening the draining pathways up, and that's where I just like to kind of distinguish the draining word from the detox word. Detox I always think of like using something like the cytodetox drops, like the the hydrolyzed clinoptilite fragments that you guys interviewed, Dr. Nicholas Sirikos. He's always a fun last name.
There we go.
But using something to literally grab on and pull chemicals, right? Whether it's biotoxins or pesticides or persistent organic pollutants, POPs, or heavy metals, right? So I think of that as detox. Draining, I think of that as just the normal pathways that the body's got to clear things. And I just, as a practitioner, I don't believe we should embark on killing bugs or detoxing until the pathways are open, because that's when the herxing happens. That's when the symptoms come up. And I think if we can minimize symptoms along the journey, it only helps from a mental stress standpoint.
Jay, what you just described, and I'll let you go on, but we call that a prep phase, right? It's like where, I say true detox, right? It's 3 things. It's getting the cell to do what it should do, right? I mean, that's really, getting the drainage of the cell, if you will, open, and downstream detox pathways, right? That's the drainage. That we have to open that up before we start. And then the third component is using a true binder like CytoDetox, and we have other tools that are true binders as well. But those 3 things: get the cells working, get the downstream detox pathway drainage open, and using true binders, man. How many people violate those three things, right? One or the other. You're not using true binders, they're not opening up the pathways, or they're not even paying attention to the cell. All three things are what real detox is.
Yeah, I really believe that's where people have reactions. You know, I think there's two things. First of all, I think there's definitely a misconception, because especially when you mention the word functional medicine, there's a lot of different things out there, and I feel like there's the classic medical profession, right, prescriptions, and there's more and more people that are like, okay, I don't want drugs because that damages the body. You know, I understand it's not natural, it doesn't make sense, but I want more natural things. But it's easy, I feel like, for people to move from the medical model of, you know, okay, you have pain or you have a symptom, let's treat the symptom and not get to the cause, and then move into the functional medicine world and do the same thing. Oh, you have adrenal fatigue, here's this adrenal protocol, right? Which there's 1,000 of them out there. Yep. But if the underlying reason for adrenal fatigue is a mental emotional stressor, is somebody ever going to be able to get off the stinking adrenal protocol?
No.
No, because the upstream source, like you always talk about, Dr. Pompa, is still there. And I'm not saying it's just the emotional stress, but if you look at it, the perfect storm that you always refer to, Dr. Pompa, you have the chemical stressor, right? So whether you're living in a mold, building, working in a mold environment, or being exposed to it, you've got drilling and filling out, like that's what spiraled you. How many years ago was that now?
Oh my gosh, 1999 is when it all started. 2000, yeah. So
wow,
17 years ago, yeah.
You know, so a chemical exposure to not properly protect, you know, the individual getting mercury drilled out of their mouth, right? That's a bigger exposure. So that's in the chemical stress category. Then you've got the physical stress, which for my wife, for instance, was car accidents. You know, if somebody sits all day, you know, on a computer, I mean, that can be a repetitive stress. So that's in the physical stressor category. And then the third category is this mental emotional. And I believe the mental emotional category is the one that's just not being identified or not been given attention. And I fully believe in the female side of things, that this modern day adrenal fatigue, you know, this unmet expectation, this constantly feeling stressed, like I need to be doing more, I'm not doing enough. And if you look at even the divorce rates, so I look at this through, obviously, I mean, I have glasses on, so my lenses, but I literally look at this through my lenses. So I have an older sister, 4 years older than me. She went to college, you know, then I was at home, high school. I went to college. The first year I went to college, came back, Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas, my parents said they're getting a divorce. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. My wife is the oldest, so she has a younger brother, about 4 years younger than her. She went to college, and her parents got a divorce. And I look at this and I say, why is there such a high divorce rate? Why is this an issue? And looking at my wife's parent situation and my parent situation, here's what my conclusion is that the focus, when you're husband and wife, the focus is on each other. When you have kids, all of a sudden the focus becomes on the kids.
That's right.
When the kids leave, if your relationship with your spouse is based on the kids and the kids leave, now all of a sudden you're missing your relationship. And so here's my thought, and take this with a grain of salt, because I'm trying to figure this out for myself and clients even that I work with. I believe the relationship of the spouse, you know, husband wife, should maintain, that's priority. Kids, you love them to death. My daughter Leela, 4 years old, I love her to death. I miss her when I don't see her, you know. But my primary relationship is with my wife, because I know when my daughter leaves for college at some point, it's our relationship that's going to hold us together. But let's say all the focus is on the kids, and all the focus is I work full time, right? My mom was full time, and my mom was a super awesome mom to my sister and I feel like that was the amount of plates she could juggle, and then the relationship with my dad, that's where it kind of fell off.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a unique look at it, because, you know, it really is the perfect storm. When you realize that the toxins that we're exposed to today, that women have bioaccumulated, we talk about lead being generational. They got it from their mother, passed on to, you know, to their kids, and then of course mercury as well. But you know what you're talking about is also passed on, right? That is expectations is passed on, and I think that, again, today is a very unique world with the different stressors. I mean, add to it the electromagnetic frequency stressor that I think, women are more, just because they're more dialed in, they're more attuned to that type of thing. And I think in that case it works to their detriment. So you put all these things, in light of what women have to deal with today, man. Adrenal fatigue, God, just look at it. But man, I hope our viewers and listeners understand it. It's not about taking the next adrenal product. It's not so simple, Jay, right? I mean, we've got to get upstream to this stuff. So what do you do for this emotional stuff? I mean, how do you address it, man? I mean, how are you addressing it? Because it is the hardest thing, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about cellular detox, removing sources. I mean, that's what we do as a group of doctors around the world, man. We do it better than anybody. But, come on, this emotional component's the hardest.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the more important ones. And so I love using herbal products. I love, detoxifying the body, removing chemicals, because I feel like it's the modern day epidemic that needs to be addressed, and it's just not properly being addressed at the cellular level like you talk about often, Dr. Pompa. But, so fast forward a little bit, wife gets well, this becomes my world, and one of the things, and I haven't spoke of this in public, so because it's obviously very personal, but one of the struggles as she's the healthiest she's ever been today.
Yeah, she is amazing. Yep.
And that in itself is the biggest blessing in the world. The thing that I would say is maybe a lingerer is this thing that's embedded, right? So if she's had symptoms her whole life, or most of her life, had issues, there's this embedded thought process that I'm a sick person, like I'm always sick, and I'm doing well now, but this fear that I don't want to go back, right? So obviously I think there needs to be a spiritual component to that, where there's faith, there's no fear, but obviously that's always easier said than done. But I would say the kind of after rubble, and this is what we've been working on a little over a year now, and that's why I'm speaking about this now, and I wasn't speaking about this a year ago, is, our relationship took a hit because she wasn't well, right? Adrenal fatigue, one of the first things that happened, obviously, was fatigue. Sex hormones are gone, so as soon as a couple loses intimacy, that's a level of connection lost. This focus about her getting well, I mean, you have all these components to it, and now that she's well, now it's like, okay, now learning how to, be husband-wife, and I take this with a grain of salt too, that, I had my parents to look at, and she had her parents to look at, and so it's like, it's whole new territory. So we're hiring coaches, we're looking, we're working with people that have amazing relationships to basically kind of learn that, because we look at it and say, what our daughter grows up with is what's going to be embedded in her, and I don't want her to have the same thing that, my wife and I had. I mean, I had an amazing childhood, so I don't want to, say it wasn't, but obviously that was a missing component. And I think that, after somebody restores their health, I think that's the thing that doesn't get brought up or talked about either, is this after rubble of a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you went through it, Dr. Pompa. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I went through it too. I mean, Marilee had her challenges, and that whole group, were all of us there? Yeah, all 7 of us. They were all sick, man. I went through mine. Marilee went through hers, and unfortunately, the emotional component went into those kids, especially the youngest one. Wherever he is up there. Oh my gosh, that's an old picture, but I got to get my new picture up there. But he probably got more emotional toxins from everything that we'd went through. But Marilee's lead was inherited, but so was a lot of the thought processes that her mother went through that was sick, and the grandmother who was sick. Honestly, it's years of unwinding that, and me getting sick put a lot of stresses on her, and I think it led to her perfect storm. Where her lead, and then all the emotional stuff, then she got sick, and then, I mean, I'm telling you, it was even after the lead was out and after her health was better from that, the emotional stuff still had to be unwound. And we went through some hard stuff in our relationship. You're being open, and right now to the public, and so am I. It was counseling. That's why a lot of our past shows are on this on this topic, because it was such an emotional drain. It left her adrenal fatigue. It left her just, wiped out and hormonally out of balance. The chemical stress, no doubt, but the emotional stress, added to it was just a huge burden to bear. And then it strained our relationship, and that made it even worse. I don't know how many years ago was it, but when you talk to my kids, they remember. They remember just thinking, man, this isn't going to last. And not now what stress did we add into their life, right? But I mean, that's the thing about sickness, right? I mean, it just impacts the relationships, and then it adds another component of stress. And we're on the other side of it to bring the message, I honestly. But Jay, I asked the question, gosh, what do you do about it? Because when we get these clients that we see this emotional entanglement, and we know the relationship is next in line, they're just hanging on. It's a very hard battle, and it's really hard, but yet we know the impact that it has on their health. It drives inflammations. You saw the show I did with Bruce Lipton and others, right? Our thoughts direct inflammation of our cell or healing. How do you get the right thoughts when you're sick? How do you get the right thoughts when your relationship sucks because of all the damage and stress? How do you get the right thoughts when you just don't feel well? I mean, it's so hard, Jay. It's so hard. And I know our viewers and listeners are going, yes, that's the problem. I mean, give them some advice. I mean, give them some advice.
Yeah, so, advice would be awareness. And I wish I had, because again, this is what we're all looking for, right? What's that one pill or supplement or thing I can do that's going to fix everything?
I know.
And I think the emotional side is even more complex, because let's take this for instance. Let's say somebody was physically or mentally abused, and another child, same scenario, a very similar scenario. Each individual can interpret it differently, and they can process things differently, which means that the tool that maybe helps this person isn't going to be the same tool that's going to help this person.
No doubt.
Let alone all the different emotional baggage and stuff that we have throughout our life. So I think about, yesterday. So I had a client I was meeting with yesterday, and she had said that she was mentally and physically abused from her father. Her father was an alcoholic. And this is some of the events, if I'm trying to recall properly. The first thing that happened was that she had huge stress with her dad. Then all of a sudden she got a gallbladder attack. Think about this.
Yeah.
Alcohol affects the liver and gallbladder primarily, because the liver has to detoxify the alcohol. The toxins get dumped primarily into the bile, right? And how much does the emotion trauma side of things from an individual impact us from an organ standpoint? I mean, I only thought it was interesting correlating gallbladder out after the stressor and, him probably having horrible organ issues in that area, and then her maybe manifesting that to some degree there. But so having that happen,
the liver represents fear and anger. I mean, that's the liver, right? I mean, that's the organ that really holds that frequency, man. But go ahead.
So she had the gallbladder she had the father stress. I mean, and that was growing up, but it escalated. Then had the gallbladder out, then had the wisdom teeth out, then had twins and lost one of them. So then she had one newborn and lost one of them and never quite dealt with that. Then her brother died in a car accident, and this is all within maybe 5-6 years, right? Brother died of a car accident. Shortly after that, she had a miscarriage, which I don't even like that word, miscarriage, but there's not another word people use, but had a miscarriage. Then her grandma, who she was really close with, passed away, and then she had another pregnancy, which I would just say, pregnancy and labor is an amazing thing, but it's a physical trauma to the body, let alone the mental, emotional of now all of a sudden, if you're a full-time working person and now you have a newborn to take care of, there's a whole different, realm.
Not to mention the chemical aspect, because women lose the lead. We all grew up in the lead generation, our parents did. The lead comes out, so it's chemical, physical, and emotional. Pregnancy in itself is a perfect storm. That's why autoimmune follows it so often.
Exactly, yeah, and pregnancy will, the first half of the trimester you'll be more, TH1 weighted, second half more TH2, then back when you deliver TH1. So it's like the immune system starts flip-flopping during pregnancy too, let alone with all this other stuff that happens with it. So let me get to your question here. What do you do when you have this emotional trauma and stress? Awareness. So when I'm working with a client, My job is to listen, right? Do the history, do the exam, look through the 40 pages of lab tests they send me, as I know you get the same thing, Dr. Pompa, and understand that side of things, but also listen to them and their story and hear these points, and then call them out on it, not not like shove it in their face, but all of a sudden, okay, open this up and say, you know what, maybe heavy metal toxicity is part of your health issue, maybe autoimmunity and gut challenges, maybe Lyme disease, maybe, mold, maybe this or that is part of the puzzle. But if there's emotional stress, emotional traumas, I believe us as a practitioner, a clinician, working with somebody, we have to say, hey, this is a piece to the puzzle as well. Now, I might not be the perfect person to fix it for you, but I sure as heck can help identify it with you, call it out and say, this is something that definitely you're going to need to work through to reach your full potential. And honestly, what else is the goal other than that in yourself listening right now, or this individual that's maybe suffering with health issues, maybe a family member, the primary goal is them getting well. And not just feeling better, but getting upstream to the source. And if emotional trauma and stressors are a piece to the puzzle, it has to be dealt with. If it's not, you're going to plateau, and you're going to think, maybe even think, oh yeah, I'm fully well, and that's what really life is. I remember when I was detoxifying heavy metals, it was about a year in, and all of a sudden it was like my brain went to another level, and I wouldn't say I ever had memory issues or cognition or maybe a little focus because I maybe a little ADD all over the place type, but it was like a whole new level. I didn't even realize that I wasn't functioning at a high level, and I believe that's missing pieces to people's puzzles to really to get well.
Yeah, you said it best. You said that, look, the emotional component is so different for everybody that it really is very difficult oftentimes to hone in. And I posed a question to you because I wanted to see how you handle it, Dr. J, versus how I handle it. I do the exact same thing. I believe my job is to make people aware of it, but because the roots are so different, I'm not going to be the guy that covers all these roots. It's a process. I have them watch past cellular healing episodes, EMDR, the EFT, the Bruce Lipton episode, right? We have all these episodes on the mind and emotions. I point them in that direction because EFT would work for some people, EMDR would work for others. I believe that if we open up that pathway, get them to understand that this could be the next step that you need, or you may not get well without getting to this source completely. We have to open them up to that, and then they start to find that direction. And so Jay, I handle it the same way. I believe because there's certain things work better for other people because of where the trauma starts, what that root is, what that emotional hurt is. We have to have a lot of different things, and pointing them in the right direction is part of it. Gosh, maybe we should title this show, women's health, women's health and adrenals, and because I hope people are hearing what you're saying, Jay. And if you don't get to that root, that cause, and address all of these causes, that's how Heather got her life back, right? That's how I got mine. That's how, it's like you have to address all of these causes. And Jay, I say this to all the doctors, right? If someone's not progressing as you expected, there's a hidden cause still there that you haven't addressed. And you know what? You hit on a big one today that most people probably need to examine in their life. So Meredith, you're a woman. I mean, Jay, here we are. We're talking, and we have a woman here. I got to get your thoughts on this, Meredith, on the topic. So
yeah. Well, and I love this. I wasn't sure exactly which direction this was going to go in today, but I love that we're hitting so hard on the emotional detox process because it's so vital. And I think that all of us have emotional trauma, whether it's mild, moderate, severe. We all have it. So we all need this message and need to be reminded. And I think, too, that as much as when we begin focusing on addressing the emotional traumas, it's extremely important. But to be reminded that it's a process that we have to maintain our entire life, too. We can't just go to counseling for a while, for a year or two, and work through some major things and kind of, in the beginning, I think that's really vital. But we have to maintain our emotional health throughout our entire life as well. It's never over.
Meredith, you're a female, and based on what Dr. J just shared, what's your thoughts on the woman today versus the woman of the 50s? the differences, the stressors. What stressors do you feel? You know, I mean, because you're a working woman, you're a successful woman, but you're not married yet. So do you feel any of that? I mean, maybe you don't even perceive it at this point. I don't know.
I do. I definitely feel stress, and from a lot of different angles. You can feel stress being married and stress from not being married. You can feel stress from having kids versus not having kids but wanting kids. So, you know, there's both angles. And I think kind of social media, like you touched on before, maybe that was before we started recording, Dr. Pompa, has created a whole new emotional stress for all of us, not just women, but men and women as well, where we are constantly interacting with others on social media, and but can feel a lot of loneliness and kind of a strange sense of being connected but not being connected to people as well. So I think that's brought a unique stress to our modern world. But yes, as a modern woman, I think all of us feel a lot of stress, but specifically I think with our company and this mission that we're called to, there's a responsibility and a pressure when you're on a mission to change the world and to help change people's lives. There's sometimes a sense of urgency to do that, but it can also create pressure and stress and an inability to kind of relax sometimes too, which isn't healthy either. And of course, that's not good for our health. Even when we're trying to promote health all the time, if we're stressed out about trying to promote health, then gosh, that's, you know, obviously not the right thing either.
Yeah, you know, this question is to you. You think the social media today is a big part of this stress for women? Here's why I asked the question, because women have this uniqueness about them where they have to really engage with other relationships and other women. And, you know, it really is. I mean, they have to have these relationships. I mean, it's like they're more tribal, if you will, than even men, right? So is social media a false sense of what women need in their life? You know, they're reaching out on Facebook and they have all these relationships, but they're not getting that really connectedness. You know, I don't know. It's just a thought. I talked about the EMF. I think affects women, you know, even more. But wonder if there's this other aspect that, you know, Meredith, you just kind of touched on.
Yeah, I think detoxing from, you know, Facebook is definitely a good thing for the agenda as well too. It's these modern day technologies, whether it's Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, right? The next one will come up in a couple of years, or next month or whatever. That it occupies our time and it takes focus away from the things that are important and that matter. And it's easy to get sucked into kind of that world. So I believe the most important thing is just looking at priorities and saying, what is my priority? You know, my priority for so long was, you know, helping others and not necessarily being a great father or a great husband. And in the last year, I mean, that is my priority. You know, I will be a husband first, a father second, and I will take care of the clients third. You know, like that is my, and Facebook just doesn't fit into that, right? So if I'm on Facebook for an hour, I'm taking away from family time. I'm taking away from my wife and I's time. And so I think it's just all about what you value and what's important. And it's one thing to think about your priorities and values. It's another thing to actually, you know, see what they truly are.
Yeah, you know, and again, I think it gives just a false sense of what women, you know, intuitively want and need, actually, right? It gives them a false sense that they're getting, you know, be tribal and connected with other people and building relationships. But it's not the same because they're not getting out and doing, you know, things that women love to do, and that's really connect. And, you know, so yeah, it's an interesting, it's an odd hidden stressor, I think, also, as we explore the, you know, this huge component of the stress that women are under, you know, and leading to this perfect storm of why we're seeing more women with chronic fatigue and hormone resistance and, you know, thyroid issues. I mean, it really is. It's not because women are weaker. Quite the opposite. It's because I think the stresses of today are very unique to them. I think we're really, you know, hitting on something here, Jay, and that's, you know, something I guess you've been hitting on for the last year. So.
Yeah. We have emotional detox, cellular detox, and now they're calling it digital detox. So that's yet another component that we have to throw in.
What is it?
Digital detox.
Oh, digital. Okay, yeah. I thought you said genital detox. I was like, oh, okay, hold on a second. All right, yeah, see, I don't know. Just what I heard. Don't shoot the.
I didn't. It wasn't clear. Digital detox. Yeah, but very, very important, and we all need that too.
Yeah.
Maybe camping more.
Yeah. Don't tell my wife that. No, camping, that's it. You know, it's done right there. We're not going to, yeah, we'll just detox from the digital world. Right? Digital detox. Meredith just coined that, I think. I don't know. Maybe.
I didn't, but I'll take credit.
Somebody.
It's okay.
Well, hey, Jay, thank you so much. That was a fast show. My gosh. Like I said, I think that we need to title this somehow, Meredith, women's health, adrenals, and why women are not well today. Something like that, because I think you hit on something really key, Jay. And putting it all together is something, that you do so well. And so thank you for being on the show and sharing your wealth of information. And Meredith, thanks for bringing it all together as usual.
Oh, well, thank you, Dr. Pompa, and thank you, Dr. J. Such a wealth of information. So glad to have you on the show. And reminder, guys, sign up for the Detox Project. And again, that is September 26th, 2016. So coming up soon, go to thedetoxproject.com to check that out. That is going to be an incredible summit loaded with information on a lot of the topics that we talked about today, right, Dr. J?
Yes, yeah. It's I think it's the next step for people, just understanding what they can do to take their health to the next level. So it's been a pleasure to be on, guys. I really appreciate it, guys and gals.
Thanks for the comments. They're great education. And if we don't bring this message, then who will? I know we have a message that the world needs, Dr. J. So thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for being a cellular healing doc, man. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Meredith.
Hey, thank you both. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Maybe this weekend you can try a little digital detox yourself. So don't check Facebook for a day. Give that a try, and we'll see you guys next week, and have a wonderful weekend. So thanks for watching.